Welcome to my story time by mybooksummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless stories and explore. A tiny rabbit with a tiny hiccup. Once upon a time, in a meadow filled with tall grass, blooming flowers, and buzzing bees, there lived a very small, very soft, very quiet little rabbit. He had fur as fluffy as dandelion puffs, ears that twitched at the faintest sounds, and a nose that wiggled when he was curious, which was almost all the time. This little rabbit was special, not because he was big or strong or the fastest in the meadow, but because he noticed things. The soft rustling of leaves in the wind, the way the dew sparkled on the grass in the morning, the gentle hum of a butterfly's wings. These were the things that made him stop and watch with wonder. One bright morning, as the sun peeked over the hills and the birds began their daily songs, the little rabbit woke up, stretched his tiny paws, yawned a great big bunny yawn, and hic. It was not just any hiccup. It was the smallest, quietest hiccup anyone had ever heard. In fact, it was so tiny that it did not even come out as a real sound. It came out as a whisper so soft that it barely stirred the air around his twitching nose. The little rabbit sat up straight. Had he imagined it? He took a deep breath and held it, hoping the hiccup would go away. But when he let the breath out, hic! There it was again, a tiny whispering hiccup. Oh no, thought the little rabbit. How do I stop a hiccup that is too small to hear? And so began the little rabbit's journey, asking the meadow, seeking a cure. The little rabbit had heard from the older rabbits that hiccups could be cured by drinking water, holding one's breath, or even being startled. But he wasn't sure if any of those would work for a whispering hiccup. He decided to ask the wise ones of the meadow. The first creature he met was a fat, contented bumblebee buzzing lazily over a clover patch. The rabbit sat very still and listened to the gentle hum of the bee's wings. Then in the softest voice he asked, "Dear bee, do you know how to stop a whispering hiccup?" The bumblebee paused midair thinking, "A whispering hiccup? That is quite unusual," he said, his wings vibrating thoughtfully. "Perhaps if you drink a drop of nectar, it will soothe your little throat." So, the little rabbit hopped over to a bright yellow flower and licked a single sweet drop of nectar. It tasted like sunshine and honey, but when he swallowed, hic! The whispering hiccup was still there. The bumblebee shrugged. "Maybe someone else will know." And off he buzzed. The little rabbit continued his search, his ears twitching with hope. The advice of the meadow's creatures. Next, he found a wise old turtle sunbathing on a rock near the stream. The turtle was slow, thoughtful, and had seen many things in his long life. The little rabbit respectfully waited until the turtle blinked his sleepy eyes open, and then whispered, "Dear turtle, do you know how to stop a whispering hiccup?" The turtle considered for a long moment, then rumbled, "Perhaps if you hold your breath and count to 10, it will go away." So, the little rabbit took the biggest breath he could manage and held it. He counted in his head 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. Then he let the air out carefully and waited. Silence. Had it worked? But just as he was about to sigh in relief, hic! The whispering hiccup returned as soft as ever. The turtle gave him a slow, wise nod. "Sometimes these things take time," he said. The little rabbit thanked the turtle and continued on his way. The wind's advice, a game of patience. As he wandered through the meadow, feeling a little discouraged, the wind swept through the tall grass, making it dance. The little rabbit lifted his face to the breeze, letting it ruffle his fur. "Maybe the wind knows," he thought. So he whispered into the wind, "Dear wind, do you know how to stop a whispering hiccup?" The wind, always playful, twirled around him and whispered back, "Let it be. It will go when it is ready." The little rabbit blinked. "Just wait." But the wind had already rushed off to chase leaves and ruffle feathers. Waiting was not easy for a small rabbit full of curiosity, but he decided to try. He sat quietly by a patch of daisies, listening to the sounds of the meadow. He heard birds singing, grasshoppers chirping, the stream bubbling in the distance, and the soft rustling of leaves. And as he listened, something amazing happened. He forgot about the hiccup. He became so lost in the beauty of the world around him that he didn't even notice when the whispering hiccup disappeared. The lesson of the whispering hiccup. When the little rabbit finally realized that the hiccup was gone, he twitched his ears in surprise. He had been so worried about finding a cure that he hadn't considered what the wind had told him: to simply be patient. With a joyful hop, he ran back to the bumblebee, the turtle, and the wind, thanking them for their wisdom. Each had given him a gift, even if they didn't know it. The bee had given him sweetness, the turtle had taught him patience, and the wind had reminded him to simply let things be. As the sun began to set over the meadow, the little rabbit curled up in his soft nest, feeling warm and happy. He had learned something very important that day. Sometimes the best way to solve a problem is not to fight it, but to let time take care of it. And with that peaceful thought, he fell asleep, his little nose twitching gently in his dreams. Final thoughts: the magic of a whisper. Margaret Wise Brown's The Whispering Rabbit is a simple yet profound story that teaches children the beauty of patience, curiosity, and trust in the natural flow of things. The little rabbit's journey is one that resonates with readers of all ages. Sometimes, the smallest problems feel the biggest, but with time, kindness, and a little bit of trust, they often resolve themselves. Through lyrical prose and a gentle, soothing narrative, this story captures the quiet wonder of the natural world and the magic of simply listening to the wind, to the animals, and to one's own heart. It reminds us all, young and old, that sometimes the best things come when we stop searching and simply embrace the moment. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, the next time you have a whispering hiccup, you'll remember the little rabbit and his adventure through the meadow. And you'll smile, knowing that everything will be just fine. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.